Welcome back, gay schools and everyone in between, to our YouTube channel, The Horror Bandwagon. Hi, my name is Sergio.
And my name is Cody.
And we are boys for horror analysis,
criticism,
and spooky,
and sometimes kooky
entertainment. And guess what, guys? It is officially our last video regarding anything theory-wise for Stranger Things Season 4.
Can you believe it?
We made it. I felt like January 1st. I'm going back in time, which is the theory we might talk about. But I felt like July 1st felt so far away, but now it's here. It's literally like, depending on when this video comes out, it's either going to be tonight at midnight or wherever you are located, or the next day. Who knows?
So to help us prepare for these final 2 episodes of Season 4, we thought we would go through some of your comments on our recent videos for Stranger Things Season 4 and pick out some of them to talk about, some theories, some comments, just to help us get ready.
Absolutely. So this is just going to be a quick video where we're just going to be chilling with each other for a little bit. And hopefully we gather a little bit more clarity regarding these last 2 episodes, and it's not looking good. I feel like we're gonna be bummed out by the end, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we've been saying, and so have many of you, that this feels like a classic setup for a final movie. This is your Empire Strikes Back, your Infinity War, just like, it's not gonna feel great when this is all over.
It's not gonna feel great. And I took a little peek at some of the comments, and some of them I was just like, oh God, my heart. What if it comes true? I'm also in the spectrum where like I don't want to hype these last 2 episodes up too much. You know, because I'm afraid that I'm going to be like, this is going to be the greatest thing ever. And then it's not going to be, or they fall flat.
Listen, it's not Game of Thrones Season 8. There's a whole extra season.
That's true. But the thing is, like, I went into Stranger Things Season 4 with like literally no expectations. We binge watched the first 3 seasons all in a row. And we were like, okay, perfect. We're ready. And we just hopped in and we're pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Overly impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. We're obsessed with Ariana Grande's yeah. So if you hear us randomly say that throughout the episodes, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
But before we get into your comments, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click that notification bell so you get notified every time we post a new video. And if you want to support the channel even more, you can go over to our Patreon at patreon.com/thehorrorbandwagon.
And without further ado, let's get into these comments.
So this is a comment from our recent ranking of all of the characters from this season, and it is by Gilly Fluffball. Great analysis. I just subscribed. Thank you.
Thank you so much for subscribing.
So agree, but I hate to say it, but I think Will should be moved to near death. I don't think he will die, but there's no way that Vecna won't go straight for him the second they step foot into Hawkins. Not only does he have the past connection with the Upside Down, but he is also dealing with his feelings with Mike, who is, for all intents and purposes, dating his sister. He is the perfect Vecna victim. However, I do not think they will kill him. This is a really good point.
That is completely fair. I definitely think that Will is near death. I just feel like his plot line is so important, or is going to be so important, that he has to just be in the next season. But you're right. I do think that no matter what, we are going to see Will in some sort of danger.
Yeah, and this has been a common thread in some of the comments on our videos, that Will has to be involved a lot more than this season is making him be involved. It's actually pretty strange when you think about it, how involved he was in the last 3 seasons. And for this one, he's just kind of like out in California. And while I love that for him, I do agree that there has to be more here. And I feel like there's another shoe to drop with Will specifically.
And next we have Arixia, who says, I agree with your idea with Will. It would be so freaking cool to see him control the Upside Down, or even just have some sort of powers. That is what we said before. I was like, and that came to me in the moment as we were talking about things. And I believe that this was a comment from our recent ranking. Like, I feel like he is just so connected with I guess, well, for me, I felt like it was like the mind flare, right?
Yeah.
And the mind flare, it would be so cool if that at some point he learned that he could, or learn with 11, maybe by the end of the season, they get stranded by themselves, or they lose so many people that they're off by themselves. And maybe along the way, Elle teaches Will some powers and realizes how to focus that power and connection, where maybe he can now control the mind flare instead.
And then Elle becomes the papa.
Yeah. Well, they're kind of like brother and sister.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm just saying, from a philosophical point of view. But I mean, it is a really interesting prospect because there has to be more to the fact that the specific day that the Upside Down is frozen in is the day that Will got taken. That has to mean something.
Oh, so significant. And I have seen interviews with the Duffer Brothers. They said that they are not going to dive into that aspect, at least for the end of this season. I could be wrong. They could be tricking us. But they said before in an interview that they are going to touch about it more in season 5.
And I wonder if season 5 is going to like pick up like right from where this left off, similar to
what
happened in Infinity War versus Endgame.
I heard that it's going to be a time jump.
Okay.
Kind of like Infinity War Endgame, because that took, what, 5 years later?
Well, the 5 years happened in the middle of Endgame because they kill Thanos and then spend 5 years being like, what do we do?
Oh, yeah, you're right. But still a
space.
time jump. Like,
Yeah, it is a time jump.
So I think we're going to be going into possibly a different era. This is based off of some rumors online on YouTube videos, and I don't know if it's solidified or confirmed, but
imagine we go to the early 90s.
Yeah. That could be a possibility.
That would be a trip.
It'll be so sad because we've been so focused on the 80s that, like, man, we're moving past that. Our show is growing up.
Next, we have Adrienne Tardy-Gurdon saying Mike dies, declaring love to Elle, and Will tells Mike he loves him, all in death scene. Killed by military scene, and why Will and Jonathan are hugging/crying. That would be...
Oh, my God.
That would be really, really sad. I do not want Mike to die.
That means he probably, because I have a feeling like that explosion at the lab or wherever that is in Nevada is going to happen at the end of the first, the one before the end episode, episode 8. I feel like that is where that's going to happen. But this is insinuating that he's going to die off the bat. Like, he's going to not even make it to the actual finale of the season.
Well, because we do know from the trailer that the military is going to be going into that compound. We just don't know the exact timing behind it.
Yeah, because they're still on their way, so maybe they get there in time to help her, or some sort of way. But that would be really upsetting. Yeah, and not in a bad way. Like, I think this is a fair point to make, but I would just be so sad. I'm like, wait, let's not kill anybody yet. Do you think there's going to be people killed in the 8th episode before the 9th?
I think they might kill one person just to kind of set the stakes to be like, hey, they're not safe.
Vicious KG says, Vicky, Robin's supposed love interest, supposed. I don't think she'll be a love interest because they heavily developed Robin and Nancy, but with Vicky, not at all. If they were giving Robin a love interest to Vicky, wouldn't they come with her and Nancy to investigate Victor Creel? I think it'll be a surprise in a bad way. I don't think Robin will die. She's the only out character. I think she'll come out and overcome it. I'm sort of tired of out characters dying this year.
That is an interesting theory because you're right that like they sort of said, oh, look, there's this girl that Robin has a crush on. But the only real interaction they had is when Robin almost outed herself. And
yeah, it was like a cute, fun thing at the beginning. But it really does seem like Nancy and Robin are hitting it off really well. But even then, Robin is very, she's trying to become more confident with her feelings. And her sexuality, you know?
I don't know. I feel like where we're going is Robin and Nancy BFFs.
I think so. Like, I think it's BFFs.
Like girl boss time together. I just don't think that they're as much as I ship them. I really do not think that that's where we're gonna go. Because I'm also getting this redemption arc between Steve and Nancy, and I wonder if Steve is gonna like have his Bob moment before the end of this season.
Yeah, I can't even think about it. It's so sad. But I will agree with you, Vicious KG. I I don't want an out character to die. Yeah. I feel like that would be just so cheap regarding like maybe using that against Robin. Which would be sad because, you know, that is a real thing and something that she is battling with. So, yeah, I agree. I hope that she does make it out alive as well as Will in case he comes out as well.
And then we have Cheyenne Steele, who says at 11 minutes and 3 seconds, Lucas wouldn't just scream for Max. I mean, Erica, his sister, is with him too now. That's his own blood-related family. That's a good point.
That is a good point. I completely forgot about that.
I feel like Erica has a lot of plot armor, and I am okay with that, but I don't know. She has been really like kicking ass this season.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're gonna at least tease that she might be in trouble. But I don't know. So. I don't know what like. I mean, they could always just come up with something, but I don't know what she would be feeling shame for in terms of being potential prey for Vecna. But
do you think Vetka? Do you think vodka? Do you think Vetka? Oh my God. Okay, take a deep breath, Sergio. Do you think Vecna is able to use his powers without the like idea of like, oh, I need to go through the minds of certain troubled people?
I think in his house, yes, because it already established that when he was a kid, he was able to kind of like he was just doing that thing to his mom without getting in her brain and doing that whole thing with like the tree vines in the Upside Down. So I think that in his house, he will have more power, but as he gets further away from his house, that's where he needs to reach out through people's minds to be able to manipulate them.
Gotcha. I also feel like, because there was another theory that I came up with where I feel like they are going to try to trap Vecna by bringing him into the other side, and maybe he won't be as strong there as opposed to where he is right now. But yeah, you're right. Like I'm trying to figure out, maybe they miscalculated and he maybe actually starts to threaten Lucas with Erica and be like, hey, I'm gonna hurt her, and then that's where he's screaming. We get that shot where he's just screaming into the void. But it could be Jason, who is the jock who is running that mob. It could be him, and maybe he's being lifted up, and that is where we're going to see maybe a little background story for Jason as to like why he's being so like passionate about this.
Yeah. Or imagine if instead of your theory, which I still love, about Vecna being brought over a la Nancy in Nightmare on Elm Street 1, what if it becomes more of a Nightmare on Elm Street 2, where Vecna comes out and is actually able to wreak some havoc in the real world?
I really wish that was the point, but I don't think Nightmare on Elm Street 2 came out in 1986.
Well, yeah, I understand that.
But the plot would be like a reference.
Like referencing that plot, you could almost, if it is true that Will is gay, you could almost have it go through Will and blame it on his connection with the Upside Down.
Yeah.
Next, we have Elena Does Stuff X, who says, no, because Will and Jonathan were crying together as if someone died, so I think Joyce does.
Yeah, that moment could mean so many things, because that is one thing that we did think about, that maybe Joyce is going to die this season, and that would be a big thing for them to feel. But I honestly don't think that Hopper would let that happen. I don't think with all his might, he would not let that happen. And I don't even know how everyone's going to get together. You know, like how would they end up knowing? But I guess like by the end of like episode 9, they could all start to like meet up. And another thing that I'm thinking, and you know, with the idea of time travel that we were talking about before, was like, what if somehow Hopper was able to find some sort of portal?
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Upside Down that can just go into the next opening portal.
Maybe they're able to, because we've already been established in the trailer for the second part of season 4 that wherever they are, and we believe it to be Russia, they have trapped monsters from the Upside Down.
Yeah.
Which suggests that they have opened a portal, and I wonder if they're going to be able to go through that portal to make it back to Hawkins.
Yeah, exactly. And especially because if you look at the poster of Stranger Things season 4, there is like the original poster, which is like the art that makes them all look animated. But then there's that one where it's like one portal and it's like all sides. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
And they're all like walking. I feel like it also may be a connection that there is now this idea that's going to open up that they can all just transfer to different locations using the same portal.
Maybe.
Anna Chris 79 says, "Hey, it's me again. Hey." I'm rewatching all seasons, but season 3, episode 2, where Billy is taking over Mind Flare. You can hear clearly Vecna's clock sound. Pool scene with Will's mom and when his upside down. Can it be that Vecna is in charge?
And that kind of goes to my theory that perhaps the idea that Vecna is the 5-star general for the Mind Flayer is really the other way around, that Vecna is the one who is controlling all these monsters.
That was our original theory in the reaction that we did for episode 7. But yeah, I honestly think that Vecna is running the show, especially like how everything started to happen at the end of episode 7, where we realized that Elle opened up the portal and now she's the one who pretty much started it all and put one in that location. I think it makes sense that he's the one who's starting to run things.
Yeah.
And why all of this is happening in the first place. It also like is so cool that the last few seasons really didn't affect the rewatches for season 1. But now with season 4, they've opened up so many more elements that rewatching season 1 is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Now knowing what we know, especially with Brenner, because it seems like maybe he wasn't a bad guy after all. Am I right saying that?
Well, I mean, you could be, because Brenner now knows not only what Elle is capable of, but also what she could be capable of if she ends up going the direction that one did.
Yeah. And I also wonder if it was always the plan to keep Brenner alive since season 1.
I don't know, because I feel like he would have been easy to kill off.
And where has he been this whole entire time? Did we learn that?
Well, I feel like he may have just like been in hiding, similar to the way that the other doctor, whose name is escaping me, the one who met Elle in the diner,
yeah.
where he
I know what you're talking about.
Like went out and lived in the middle of nowhere with his wife and just tried to have a quiet life until the government showed up and was like, "Hey, we know about your shit and you're in trouble." So Hunter said, "I really think Eddie is going to have a very important role in helping them beat Vecna. He's seen grabbing his guitar, then playing in what looks like the heart of the Upside Down. Either way, I'm terrified, truly."
I'm both terrified and honestly cannot wait for that scene.
I feel like it's going to give us a really good like cover of a song that we are just like, I cannot wait. I feel like it's going to be like Sergio has been obsessed with running up that hill since it.
All right. Who hasn't? Okay.
I feel like Eddie's song is going to be my obsession coming out of the season. I'm just waiting to find out. It'll be very interesting. And we land on different sides of this fence, because my thinking originally was that, you know, we know that Vecna has Nancy, and Eddie is seen in one of the trailers, I think it's the most recent trailer, grabbing a guitar randomly from like off the wall. Maybe they go to his trailer in the Upside Down, because we know they have a copy of everything. He grabs his guitar and and it looks like they may stand on top of his trailer, because that's where they already are to have the portal where Nancy got taken, and he's playing Nancy's favorite song to snap her out of it. But I think you thought that he may be doing it to distract Vecna in some way.
I really do think, because it seems like it's taken at a different part of the story. So what we see, and what I recently saw, was when he's rocking out on top of the RV or the trailer, which is one, I think I cannot wait for that scene, because it's one of those scenes that I love in movies where like one person's little hidden talent is the thing that is going to be used in order to save their lives.
Yeah.
Which is like, of course, Eddie had his guitar. We referenced it from episode 1, and now he gets to use it in order to save the world in some sort of way. I think that brings me chills, and I hope nothing bad happens as a result. But You also see that Dustin is with him on top of the trailer.
Yeah.
So, but he's all in his getup that we now see in trailer 2, but that's not how we left him in episode 7. So I kind of feel like that's the moment where they start getting all their weapons and they all split up, and maybe they're manning one portal, one opening, right? And they all have to kind of spread out. So that's why I feel like they're going to distract Vecna or distract the little bat things that come by, but it could also be to save Nancy. I wouldn't be surprised with either.
Yeah, we will certainly find out.
I just hope he doesn't die, even though I put him in near death in our ranking. But I mean, he's definitely up for grabs.
Well, and I feel like each season they've added like one more member to the party. They had it was like Steve in season 1. And then it was, well, I guess really maybe even Steve and Nancy, but I would put more Steve there. Steve in season 1, then you had Max in season 2, you had Erica in season 3, and now we could be adding Eddie. He could be the latest member of the little group. So John A says, my theories. Papa is probably possessed from the Mind Flayer. The scene when Nancy is in a Vecna trance but is at the lab with the test subjects, I think that scene will explain the first time Henry Creel was admitted to Papa. Because when he reveals the coma thing, he says, I was back under the care of the same doctor I had tried to escape. But he be saying something like that, meaning that Henry was under Papa's care before he even killed his family. I think maybe Papa gave him powers because he's the Mind Flayer. I don't know. Also, final theories about how the Upside Down is based when Will was taken, and it's just the scene in season 1 when Will is in his shed hiding from whatever is trying to kidnap him. The figure definitely isn't a Demogorgon, but looks more like an early stage Vecna. All that could explain why the Upside Down is based on the day Will was taken, because maybe Vecna needed a local to use their memories to create the landscape of the Upside Down.
Oh, shoot. That's really good, especially the latter part of the theory. I think that is very true, and I think I've heard that before too, is that it was actually Vecna from the very beginning, because we never really saw who took him. We didn't see it. We heard what could have been a Demogorgon. So I definitely think that's fair.
I will say I really like the theory that the Upside Down was based off of Will's memory. The only reason I think it may not be true is because I feel like it goes into so much detail about stuff that Will couldn't possibly have known. So like, how would he know it was like in Nancy's diary? But it's possible that Vecna isn't necessarily using Will's memory, but just using Will's existence.
That's what I'm saying. Like he used Will's existence because then whoever was connected to him, I mean, all of Hawkins pretty much stopped because of this missing boy. So with that, he was able to connect himself to all these minds.
Yeah.
And somehow also connect to Elle, which is that I kind of want to go back and hopefully they can connect all the dots as to like, during the whole time that Elle was present and trying to connect with Will, was Vecna there the whole time, like seeing what was happening?
Maybe. Well, because remember, Will... like everyone else who got taken by the Demogorgons, let's use Barb as an example. She just got killed. Yeah. R.I.P. Justice for Barb.
Justice for Barb.
But Will was literally plugged in to the Upside Down.
Yeah.
Which goes further for this theory that John A. has, that the Upside Down is based off of Will's either memory or existence or something where they could map out everything the way that Hawkins was the day that Will was taken, including down to details like the guitar in Eddie's trailer, even though they hadn't even met Eddie yet, and what was in Nancy's diary that she had just written that day. So I'm going to be really interested to see how they tie it together. Like we said earlier in the video, we're going to get into that in season 5, but I do think the next 2 episodes are going to give us so much more to theorize about, and I can't wait.
So before we go on, do you want to know? So Zachary Berner says, "What is Will's painting?" Do you want to know? Do you want to shoot out what your thoughts are on what would be Will's painting?
Well, I did joke earlier that Will's painting just said, "I'm gay."
Yeah,
which I don't think that's it.
But no, I mean, Will has, as we know from the previous seasons, he does have drawing skills, and he has used drawing to kind of connect to what's happening. We first thought we would be like, oh, it was like a fun little portrait to his friends, and maybe if Will does die, it's like this thing or something bad happens, you know, they end up looking at this painting. But honestly, I think it's like a map of what during the summer or during the year or so that they were away, what he's been seeing.
Yeah,
and it's not making sense.
It could be a couple things. If we want to kind of reference back to the things that he drew, especially when he was infected with the Mind Flayer, he drew, like, he was able to draw on a bunch of different pieces of paper that map of the tunnels that went under Hawkins that were in the Upside Down. That's one thing that it could be, is it could be some sort of clue to what's going on. You know, how similar to, in addition to that, he also literally drew the Mind Flayer, I think in season 2. But what I think it's actually going to be, I don't think Will's going to die. I think Will might get taken again to the Upside Down.
Ugh.
And that what that's going to be is, you know, Mike is going to confess to Elle that he loves her. And then that painting could be them all as like one big happy family, with Elle being part of the family with Joyce and Will and Jonathan, or it could be like all the group together as kids from the very first season.
Yeah.
So that there's that connection and a rallying cry for everybody to basically like do it for Will. So that's sort of why I think maybe he even gets taken back into the Upside Down. Like we start off season 5 the same way that we started the first season, where Will's gone and they got to go find him.
That's actually really cool. It all goes back to the very first season. And honestly, he gets trapped there, and that is probably where the time trip happens. They constantly like are looking for ways to get him back. Some people may move on and live their lives, or, you know, traumatized by everything. And maybe at some point something happens to have the reason for season 5 in order for them to complete what they were going to do.
And that may be why they need a time jump, because if it is true, as it seems to be building up to, that the Upside Down is really just permanently tethered to Will. If he's taken by Vecna or by somebody else and he's back in the Upside Down, they may need to go back to what happened the day that he was originally taken, to see what was on the other side, because all we saw was Will's scared face, and then it cut to black. And I think there's going to be some sort of clues in what was taking him as to how to defeat the Upside Down and get Will back ultimately. That's why, and I just came up with this theory right now, but I'm
it's
really
happening, people.
Talking myself into this season ending with Will being taken back into the Upside Down. I think it would be a really great way to set up season 5. It would give us some really strong stakes to be like, all right, we need season 5 to happen now. And I think it would be such a great callback to go back to season 1 and say that, like, you thought season 1 was just a standalone season where we get to introduce Elle and the concept of the Upside Down and Demogorgons and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But really, it's the key to everything that has been happening since.
That makes sense. And we already talked about who we think is going to die or not going to die in our ranking video. We'll post it up here, a little cue card to go and listen to that. But honestly, we're going to find out tonight or tomorrow, depending on when this video comes out. But guys, we're in this together. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey with Stranger Things. We're probably going to make more Stranger Things content down the road, and we still have season 5 to look forward to. So please, and I'm sure they'll drop hints here and there to keep us guessing. But I'm a little nervous. Aren't you nervous?
I am also nervous.
I feel like the whole world is like together. I really hope that, because what we're going to do is stay up and try to watch it once it comes out. But I really hope that Netflix doesn't like somehow just shut down, just like, because everyone's trying to watch it. I haven't been this excited like as a group with like other people watching since WandaVision.
Yeah,
because I feel like WandaVision, there's so many people who are like, let's all watch it once it comes out, the finale, because also you don't want anything spoiled.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I'm just so excited. I cannot wait to watch these last two episodes of the season with you guys and come up with our theories together. This is going to be a lot of fun. So look out for our videos. We are going to get them out to you as soon as humanly possible.
Yes. I'm going to be up all night. I know you guys will probably comment below and tell me where's the video. It's coming out, I promise. And with that being said, we have been your source for horror analysis,
criticism,
and spooky, okay?
and sometimes kooky
entertainment.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.